I mean, this is the reality of basketball. You have certain conflicts in basketball that you don't have in football for a variety of reasons. The basketball culture has always been a little more worship and star-driven. And so, players are feeling themselves. Also in the NBA, guys get to the league earlier. They have these massive shoe deals. So they're just worshipped by fans. They're worshipped by, shoe companies. It's just a reality of the culture of the NBA is different. And it's fine. It succeeds, and the NFL's got a different culture where you're not getting paid. You're going to college probably for 4 years. You're going to get beat up. The coach is going to yell at you. And even if you're Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes, you could be cut. It's just a different league and a different culture. And because of that, the NBA, it's a delicate, you walk on eggshells a little with your stars. How many of them don't get along? Embiid and Simmons do not get along. Westbrook and Harden didn't work. Westbrook and Durant didn't work. Harden and Chris Paul didn't work. KD and Draymond didn't work. Kyrie and everybody didn't work. Jimmy Butler didn't work in Chicago, Philadelphia, and Minnesota. Paul George and the rest of the Clippers, according to the Athletic story yesterday, didn't get along. A lot of drama, a lot of chaos with stars. This is another reason. This is another thing that LeBron is way better than Michael Jordan at. LeBron's very much like Magic. He gets along with everybody. That doesn't mean he loves all of his coaches, but he wins with all of them. Michael Jordan fought with friends. He dumped Charles Barkley. Michael Jordan fought with coaches. He fought with opponents. He fought with teammates. He punched teammates. I mean, you watch that documentary, it was just an enemies list. I mean, and by the way, Michael's great, but Michael built up walls and borders and fences, and Michael kept people at bay. Even now, he's kind of private. He keeps people at a distance. He's got a tight circle of friends, and that's it, and nobody penetrates it. That's his personality. LeBron's more like Magic. He works with everybody. He works with stars. He worked with Bosh. He worked with Love. He worked with D-Wade. The only one he hasn't worked with, and oh, by the way, he won a title with him, Kyrie Irving, so they worked for a while, but Kyrie left, and Kyrie has been, I think this is fair, difficult to get along with a lot of people. But Michael, this is the difference. Michael burns, and you heard this during the documentary, Michael burns people out. He just is so tireless and so intense and so relentless, he burned people out. In fact, Michael burned himself out. He retired twice. Michael burned Michael out. LeBron is happy. And this is what's scary for the NBA. LeBron and Anthony Davis are the couple everybody else is jealous of. They get along better than you, and they work better than you. I mean, do you really think KD and Kyrie are going to be together in 4 years? Embiid and Simmons are going to be together in 2? John Wall and Harden? I mean, let's be honest about this. From day one, LeBron and Anthony Davis worked perfectly. It was insane. We would go on this show, Joey and I, and be like, wait a minute, it's a whole new team. Even D-Wade and LeBron, best friends, took 17 games. They were like 8-9 or 9-8, and it was clunky. There were a lot of times that LeBron and D-Wade and Bosh, it felt like, well, you're marginalizing Bosh, and D-Wade and LeBron do the same thing, and it's Wade County, and LeBron and AD were like brothers, best friends, game 2. And, you start looking at all these teams putting these stars together, and there's an article yesterday in The Athletic that, that Paul George Kawhi thing, we didn't think it was great. It was way worse than that. You start putting these stars together. LeBron's not only a better player, he's got more self-awareness. He's a better teammate. It's got to be discouraging for the rest of the NBA. Here's Joy with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
Well, everyone is assuming that the Cowboys are committed to Dak Prescott as their franchise quarterback.
Oh, I don't even know what this story is, and I'm already interested.
Going forward. But one Pro Football Focus analyst is proposing another idea for the future of the position. The Cowboys currently have the 4th pick in the draft. And the idea is that they could trade Dak and that first-round pick to the Jets to get the 1st overall pick.
I wouldn't do that.
And then the Cowboys would be in line to draft Trevor Lawrence.
Well, it'd be great for Fox Sports and the league.
It'd be amazing. It'd be amazing.
Was this leaked by Pro Football Focus or our bosses? I like who leaked this story?
I don't think it's a story. I think it's just an idea. Like, because the Cowboys currently have the fourth overall
So I could get Trevor Lawrence, who's going to cost nothing, or Dak, who's going to cost a lot, who I don't think is as good as Trevor Lawrence.
Well, so for the Jets, they would obviously move off of Sam Darnold, so they'd get another first-round pick, and they'd have the Cowboys' fourth pick, and Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I don't. I know.
So you'd have a proven quarterback, who I think everyone at this point certainly thinks is better than Sam Darnold.
Yes, he's been better, yes.
And you'd have two first-round picks.
Well, they don't need draft capital. The Jets got nothing but picks. What they need is players. They have a zillion picks.
But, I mean, they could package those picks for other players.
I'd like to get this Pro Football Focus person identified. This feels like what our marketing department did.
I mean, it's very exciting.
For us,
It's very exciting to imagine. I don't think there's any chance of this happening. I think the Jets are going to take Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence is not going to force his way out of New York because that's, I mean, force yourself to where? Like, you'd have to find a situation that is more ideal than New York. And if you're looking at the other teams that need quarterbacks, the current draft order, Jets, Jags, Bengals, Cowboys, Chargers, and Eagles round up the top six. So, you want to force your way to Jacksonville?
No, I think I know, as long as the Jets and Jags and the Bengals keep losing, I absolutely believe I know what the first three picks of I think Trevor Lawrence, Jets, Justin Fields, Jags, and Penei Sewell, Bengals. All three of those are great fits. Then you get into the Dallas at 4. What I would do if I was Dallas, I would just trade down, because what I'm looking for is more picks, cheaper labor. Because they're not going to take a quarterback, even though I would. Dallas is not taking a quarterback. They're going to stick with Dak. That's fine. What Dallas needs is, like, players, because they're so top-heavy. They need...
And if they stick with Dak, they're going to have to pay him $40 million.
That's right. Like, this is what Seattle did a couple years ago when they signed the Russell Wilson contract. They had 4 picks. They turned it into 11 picks before the draft. It's like, okay, we got to get inexpensive on the defensive side. And so that's what Dallas needs to do with Seattle. Trade that number 4 pick. By the way, it's going to be a great... Jerry's a deal maker. So there's going to be 4 to 5 teams calling on that Dallas Cowboy pick. Because if I'm Cincinnati, I don't move because I have maybe I do. It's a good offensive line. I think both the Bengals and Cowboys potentially will take phone calls and move.
I thought there was going to be a lot more movement in this draft than there was.
I know,
too.
But this draft has 5 quarterbacks first round, 2 are stars. I think we're going to have a crazy draft.
I hope so. This one did not have the movement that I thought it was going to, even though it did turn out to be a great draft. So the Chargers haven't officially been eliminated from the playoffs yet, but their chances are slim, sitting at the bottom of the AFC West. And Anthony Lynn says he's being realistic with his team on what they are really playing for these last few games.
We talked about today, playing for each other. The playoff hunt is probably not going to happen at this point. 8-8 is the best we can do, and I don't think that's going to be good enough. But we play for each other, and we play for the love of the game.
Well, Anthony Lynn's record with the Chargers is 29-30. A losing record would be the team's second in a row after going 21-11 and winning a playoff game over Anthony Lynn's first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So whether or not he gets a 5th season is kind of going to be dependent on how much they consider those first 2 seasons. We talked about this yesterday. The Chargers are in L.A. They're in a market that is completely saturated, not with teams, not with entertainment, but high-level teams.
All winning.
All winning with lots of stars.
And they have to sell tickets, and they're giving away tickets.
Yes, well, as of right now, nobody's worried about tickets, but they will be eventually, and they're going to need something that is going to get people there. Now, I think Justin Herbert's done an amazing job, so they know that they have a star in him.
And
I would go watch him.
They also have a world-class pass rusher in Joey Bosa. Like, they have a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, they have lots of great players and fun players and talent. Are they going to be able to put it all together is the question, and this year has been a huge disappointment. And obviously it didn't start the way they thought it would. They thought they were going to have Tyrod Taylor, but Justin Herbert's been amazing. I don't know if Anthony Lynn is there next year, and I don't know if that's necessarily fair, but